And he won't call it an emergency yet. I'm talking about President Biden, yet he sends the Federal Emergency Management Association, FEMA, to the border to stop what's basically an army of people coming over wearing the same uniform. They're wearing Biden T-shirts. This is what's happening. They're flooding the border. The number for February of 21, this past month, 97,000 border apprehensions. 1 year ago, 30,000. 2018, 25,000. So what happened is people realized that Biden and the Democrats want to give asylum. They want the once you're here, you can stay idea that President Obama was so famous for. If you're caught, catch and release, try again. Trump stopped that. That was we were having in excess of 100,000 border apprehensions until Trump put a clamp on it. Here's why it's super important. Forget the human trafficking. It's a horrible thing that's going on. The drugs that are coming over, I know all too well about the drugs coming across the border. Awful. Disease that's coming across the border, terror, crime, all these things. Here's the biggest problem that we face as conservatives, okay? Forget the country for a second as conservatives. If you listen to Pelosi and Schumer right there, the soundbite that you set this whole thing up with, they're going to try and reform immigration, which means if there are 12, 13, who knows, 20 million illegals here, the number keeps rising under a Biden administration. If you go and reform immigration and allow a pathway to citizenship to those anywhere between 11 and 20 million illegals who are here, they're done. 80% of those people, there's a Pew study that says 80% of those people who would be allowed to be citizens, allowed to vote, will vote Democratic. You will never, ever see another Republican president, maybe not even another Republican senator in America if you allow this to continue on at this current path.
So despite all the people rushing toward the border and people interpreting it as a crisis, which is on both sides of the aisle, they're recognizing, yeah, we've got a bit of a crisis down there. What's the disincentive, or let me put it this way, what's the incentive to stop it? Because it appears to be part of their plan.
Yeah, well, the only incentive is what I just pointed out. Human trafficking is flooding the border. Drugs are absolutely flooding across the border. I spent last summer at the border going to drug crossings. I was in tunnels, drug tunnels, climbing through the U.S.-Mexico border. The disease that's coming across, we know that COVID is a big problem. We're not even sure we're testing everyone that comes across the border. Look at the pictures you're rolling right now. How are you going to test everyone? And the crime wave that comes with these people. It's a fact. It's a known fact that this causes a lot more crime here, a lot more disease here. And forget the fact that we're $28 trillion in debt. How are we going to pay for all these people's health care and schooling once they get here? That's the incentive to stop it. Make it legal. Like President Trump said, okay, it was called the Migrant Protection Protocol, which means if you want to come over to the United States and declare asylum because you're being threatened, you feel like your life is being threatened in a foreign country, it's what we do. We allow that. Stay in Mexico, Trump said. Stay in Mexico and we'll get to you as soon as we can, as soon as the courts allow it. Biden just rolled that back last week. He rolled that back. He said, no, forget that, which means it's a magnet. President Biden has allowed a magnet for people that want to come over here and get the American pie. Come on over. Our borders are open for the taking.
Yeah, but Eric, just your take on this. This is what President Biden had to say, trying to reverse that come on over thing. Listen.
It's going to take some time, though, to get those policies in place again. Do you have to say quite clearly, don't come?
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come. And what we're in the process of getting set up, and it's not going to take a whole long time, is to be able to apply for asylum in place. So don't leave your town or city or community.
Well, it's a little late when they're already on their way, and we're already talking about reaching, what, a 20-year high when it comes to crossing the border. And as you answer this, we're going to roll some footage that you were just talking about of the underground tunnels and things that people are using to get here, which they don't even have to use now.
Yeah, that's me getting into a tunnel on the U.S. side of the border. That tunnel straight over to the Mexico side, and there are literally thousands of these. We have absolutely no way of knowing where they are, when they are. President Biden was forced to say, don't come. Right. He didn't say it on his own. Stephanopoulos pushed him into the corner. And we do know Both Stephanopoulos said it and CNN's own report. CNN's reporting says that these people have been interviewed. They're coming because they feel Biden will let them in. They're flooding the border. You know what? 97,000 border apprehensions in February. I'd almost bet I bet a lot of money that going forward until something dramatic happens with Republicans, I don't see them doing it, that will be over 100,000 border apprehensions going forward every month until, I don't know, until someone on the right gets some guts and says enough is enough.
Right.
Governor Abbott, by the way, as we came to air, just did a press conference exactly saying what I've been saying right here. Biden has to acknowledge that this is a crisis. He's got to stop acting like there's nothing there. He has no intention of going to the border. That'll call attention to it. One final thing. I was able to do that border walk and flyovers, and I actually held the old border fence versus the new border fence. Unbelievably, like the old one's like tin, and you can basically walk through it, cut right through it. The new one you can't. Biden has now stopped allowing press to travel with Border Patrol and ICE. They stopped it because they don't want us to know what's going on.